robots shooting other robots, a variety of guns to never get bored, affixes to the guns to make the same gun act different to itself, a soundtrack straight out of a rave made to motivate you in your destruction spree, and a comic art style with the comic-worthy sounds to accompany. Welcome to Roboquest, a game fully released in November 2023, but has been on development for more than 8 years. It's a passion project of a roguelike that I couldn't help but sink a few hours every day for months. And even after getting 100% on the game's last update, I still come back to it from time to time. So let's talk about gameplay. Pick a class, a difficulty, and then hop onto the man. We have robots infected with a virus that we have to cure. Controls are the standard shooter experience. WASD to move, mouse to aim, and left click to shoot. Right click on some guns that have a secondary fire. Now that we have the basics, let's improve them a bit. Every class has a primary ability, triggered with Q, and a secondary ability used with V, although on a personal note, I would recommend binding at least the secondary to a mouse thumb button for a more comfortable experience. Now let's develop the movement. Space to jump, control to crouch, shift to sprint, crouch while sprinting for a slide. Everything said can also be applied to controller, as this game is controller certified. And that's it, now you have the grasp of the basics. There's upgrades to movement like double jump, a stomp or a grappling hook, but you unlock those as you play and discover secrets. And if they are not for you, they can even be toggled on and off at will. Alright, we got the basics of the gameplay, let's talk about mechanics. You have 2 weapon slots for either guns or melee weapons. Enemies have weak spots that are colored red, usually the eyes, and trying to make them blind will do extra critical damage. Some weapons and other kinds of damage are unable to crit even if they hit the weak point. That's why we have to rely on auto crit for that to happen. By the way, auto crit and weak point crit to make different sounds to differentiate them. Destroying the enemies will result in you earning experience, leveling up and unlocking upgrades that will generally make your abilities go from alright to incredible, and that's the way the game makes you choose your build. Speaking of builds, classes. These are the different flavors you can add to your playstyle depending on what you wanna focus on. For example, is your philosophy in life that the closest to the enemy, the more impactful your weapon can be? Do you like coming to a shooter game and main melee weapons like a brainless machine? Do you unga, therefore you bunga? And you will enjoy the Guardian, the starting class. Proc your primary ability to become immune to damage for a few seconds, so you can get right on the enemy's ass and not get punished. And since melee kills drop extra healing orbs, even heal the damage you took beforehand. And your secondary ability will be a tool for fisting, since it's a dedicated where's the punching button. In case you haven't found a melee weapon yet, your passive will give you a higher weapon impact, stunning enemies faster, and a higher magazine capacity on both normal and energy weapons, so you can sustain extra firing time like a maniac. For upgrades and builds, you can have a few paths to choose from, like Bonk Hammer. Now your fist is a hammer, does more damage and drops more healing orbs on a chance after takedowns. With the 2 extra possible upgrades, Flex Handle, that while Bastion, your primary ability, is active, your hammer has a 60% extra attack speed, and Mighty Blow, that upgrades the hammer's auto crit and crit damage. Steam Bubble, for the people that enjoy having the Immortality Shield but just want to shoot down the enemy from the comfort zone. This upgrade will give you extra weapon damage, fire rate and movement speed while Bastion is active. With the 2 extra upgrades, like Super Drain, where taking down an enemy while Bastion is active recharges Bastion's battery, allowing a possible infinite feedback if you kill fast enough. And how do we kill fast enough? Taking the second upgrade, Ravage, that allows you to have infinite ammo while on Bastion. Congrats, now you are an infinitely bullet printing killing machine, and your only downside is running out of enemies to kill, so your battery runs out. Enjoy. And for the last example, elemental damage. This game has 3. Fire, thunder and ice. And if you like the idea of your weapon doing extra spicy damage, pick the Meteor weapon upgrade path. And now every 4 seconds you will have a random element rolled and your weapon does that element has its base damage. Oh, and extra elemental damage on it. The 2 extra upgrades are straightforward, as elemental flavor allows you to crit more with elemental damage, or vaporize to execute enemies that are hit below an 8% HP threshold with elemental damage, which now is, always Let's swap classes for a bit to my favorite, the Commando, whose main ability is to throw an explosive rocket, and the secondary, a sort of shotgun shot with such a tight spread that you can destroy the robot in front of you and the one 2 rooms over. Your passive is Frenzy. Every takedown generates 2 stacks of it, and hits against bosses generate 4 stacks, up to a maximum of 16. Each stack gives you fire rate, faster reload, ability speed, and movement speed, and stacks decay at a rate of 1.25 stacks per second. As for upgrades, some examples. Do you feel like you can dig a hole using only explosives? The boom and the bang a natural draw to your attention? Do you like aiming somewhere on the ground and hitting every poor soul happening to be around that random spot? Grab Fan of Rocket, giving you 2 extra rocket missiles per throw but lowering the damage by 25%. For those bad at math, that's 75% total damage per rocket. But now we have 3, so the total damage possible is 225% of the original amount, so we end up with more damage. As for the extra upgrades to Fan of Rocket, there's Happy Load, that gives you a 20% of the rocket ability to not have a cooldown and can fire immediately, and now we have a small chance of becoming a rocket salvo. Or more rockets, which give us 2 extra rockets while decreasing the damage by 15%. And for those good at math, do this one yourself cause it's above my pay grade. I just want to throw 5 rockets at my enemies. If you are like me, 2 weapon slots is one too many, and just wanna rock the same extremely fun weapon the whole time. Well, pick Hot Potato and you will only have 1 weapon slot. With your weapon now does more damage, and instead of doing a weak-ass reloading animation where you can fire, you'll instead throw an explosive potato at the enemy and have the magazine fully loaded instantly, every 5 seconds of course. To fix this, pick the extra upgrade Tactical Pocket to reduce the cooldown to 2 seconds, and enjoy how most weapons have virtually infinite ammo now, with the downside of throwing an explosive every so often, that you can further upgrade with full price, making the potato do more damage and explode bigger. Do you just enjoy explosions in general? Is the mayhem of the kaboom very soothing? What if I told you you can now have explosions on your explosions? Pick Baby Boom, and now your explosions have a 40% chance to trigger again, with a bigger radius but reduced damage, so you can have more boom per boom. The further upgrades of Lucky Powder, allowing the explosions to crit, or Group Discount, which makes the damage of the explosion bigger if it's hitting multiple targets. Now, there are more classes, there's 7 in total, each with a focus on playstyle different to each other, and a lot of upgrades for each. Just remember, the builds I just told you aren't exclusive to each other, as you will have many level ups and can mix and match to your heart's content. Now, let's start weapons. There are 5 types of weapons: Assault, Precision, Technology, Demolition, and Ass Whooping, also known as Close Combat. Within these categories, most of them play different to each other, so there's a lot of variety, and all of them have starting affixes that modifies their behavior, and extra affixes can be applied as the rank goes on. So, let's talk about the weapons. Assault weapons are your standard run and gun machinery, varying degrees of rate of fire, from pistols to submachine guns to light machine guns. Precision guns for the one-hit high damage enjoyers. You have your usual snipers, bows, revolvers, a chaos rifle, or even a boomerang that has guaranteed crit on return. Technology is your non-standard weaponry, usually involving non-kinetic types of ammunition, like the flamethrower, the ice thrower, the thunder thrower, the bee thrower, or even the Men in Black gun. Demolition for those who, like before, like all kind of kaboom, from a small like the elephant gun to big like the missile battery and a few in between. And lastly, there's close combat for the get off my lawn mentality. So we have all kinds of shotguns and the rip and tear kind of weapon, like the shovel, the chainsaw, or the panchaku. As mentioned before, guns also have 2 types of possible ammunition: your regular magazine weapons that run out of bullets and have to reload, or energy weapons that don't use bullets but after firing constantly overheat and have a cooldown animation that might as well just be a longer reload. I hate them. Jokes aside, they're pretty fun, and with a few perks along the way, the downsides are minimal. Speaking of perks, these are the items that you can buy mid-run to have a positive effect and come in your usual rarity tiers for better effects, with the small exception of Corrupted that have both a big positive and a small negative attached. As for the structure of a run, it's fairly linear at first, but you will be unlocking branching paths as you play. Some are done by getting to a zone fast enough, Others need you to find 2 codes exploring some places and then opening a door. Some biomes, as you go further into the game, start having extra gimmicks, like having to destroy 4 Goliaths, which are mini bosses, before continuing, doing 2 corrupted chambers, run to the end while killing everything on a timer, or run to the end through a sentient minefield hungry for your blood on a timer. At the end of every second main biome, you're gonna have to face a boss fight. They are varied in playstyle and difficulty, and every stage has their own pool of possible bosses, so you don't find the hard ones at first. Some of these bosses can be summarized as tutorialized boss, get your ass to the surface so I can hit you. What do you mean he toggled the rage nuke when I killed him too fast? Funny pan flying asshole, the bastard, the super bastard, just to name a few. After the end of every biome, you get a score depending on the time it took you to get to the end, and the amount of experience you gather on the way there. Kill too little enemies and you won't get the S, but take too long and you'll miss it anyway, so get your blood pumping and the oil spilling. We got S ranks to farm, as they also give you extra currency to spend on shops. Lose or win a run, you get wrenches, that also sometimes drop from the enemies. These are your upgrade 3 coin to make your robot stronger permanently, or have better quality of life, like better choices, more friendly NPCs, or more drops. Secrets in this game are plenty, and they are not just a bit of lore about the story. Some are game-changing upgrades and even secret paths that are required to get some upgrades called power crystals. These give you some upgrades by themselves on the perk tree, and make the final boss slightly more manageable by disabling her bullshit, with the side effect that more elite enemies spawn on your run. But they also drop extra currencies. If the game is too easy for you, try upping the difficulty, and Guardian 4 will make sure to punish your mistakes properly, but also reward your bravery with extra wrenches. There's the game. Not much more to talk about content wise. Oh yeah, wait, I lied. There's 2 more things that I have to mention. First, the game has multiplayer. You and another brobot can have a go at the game and have a blast together, and give the enemies such a hard time they are basically begging for mercy from the high firepower coming their way. And there's also an endless mode that is sure to get your blood boiling, cause now just have negative effects the further you go in. And also bosses come in doubles, with the dream team of Bastard and Super Bastard joining forces to make you reset. What a lovely duo. So yeah, that's Roboquest. There's a lot to praise this game for. The amount of information you get in the heads-up display is plenty, but never intrusive. Always respecting your ability to be able to react to the things on the screen without taking your vision away. The art style is delightful and the details amazing. The gameplay is top-notch, and the soundtrack, made by Noisecream, will get you vibing and motivated no matter the biome or boss you fight. So I give this game an absolute 10 out of 10. My favorite roguelike in general, and even a top 10 game in my list overall. Thank you for watching the video, I appreciate it. If you have any feedback, leave it in the comments below, so I can improve. And if you like the video, why not subscribe to the channel and watch another one. In any case, see you on the next review. Have a great one.